Hey guys, what's going on? Code here with a tutorial on Koan sound or Koan sound, however you want to pronounce them, glitch hop style drums. First of all, I want to walk you through the process of how to get their snare, or how to get a snare that sounds like theirs, and then I will show you how to arrange and give you a couple of tips on how to make your drums sound glitch hoppy. So, first of all, the snare. I've got an audio track here with a couple of effects devices, and I will show you what I did here. First of all, let me deactivate all effects on this audio track because I don't want you to get confused. Okay, here's a snare sound. Okay, now this snare is actually a very long snare, a big snare sample that I found on the internet. And the first thing I did was cut the end off. Now that way it's much more slammy and tight. And I'm using audio tracks here for a very specific reason. In Kong, you can adjust the sample length, but you can't do it in a way that will instantly cut off the sample. In Kong, it will always have a fade out, except if you trigger it by gate, but that way you'd still have to use MIDI. And yeah, I'm not really comfortable when making glitch hop drums with using MIDI. So I just like to use audio. Directly import the snare sample into the track. Okay, so this is already a pretty tight sample. As you can see, this is not as tight, but if you shorten it up, it becomes this really tight, snappy snare. But there's a lot of treatment we can give it. So this is the effects chain that I built for this snare, and I think the most important one is the Scream 4. You can see the really radical settings I've got on this Scream 4. It's full damage tape distortion, absolutely cranked up all the way. Then the speed is cranked up all the way as well to let the high end through, and then the compression is relatively low. And if I play that back now, here's without, and here's with. This is the typical glitch hop snare sound. And it's achieved by just very, very intense tape distortion. If you want to kind of shape the sound, you can use the tone knob to make it a bit warmer and a bit more lo-fi, but I like to crank it up all the way. Then EQ it later. And also, with the compression knob, you can kind of adjust the way it sounds, obviously. This is a more compressed sound, and with less compression, it's louder and distorted. Okay, what I did next was add an equalizer, and that equalizer just helps to brighten up the sound. I'm boosting the 200 Hertz mark, just to get the resonance out, and then I'm also boosting the high shelf a little bit, to give it some air. And then last, I've added a pulverizer with some squash and dirt, and I've got the filter turned up all the way, the frequency at 11,000, and I'm adding a little bit of resonance up there. And that just helps to give it a bit more air up on the top, you know. Okay, that's parallel compression, by the way. I've got the blend at 50%. And that's how I shaped the snare. I then went ahead and added some room reverb just to make it a bit tighter and better in the mix, but for now I'm going to leave that off. For the kick drum, let me just switch the tracks here. So here's my kick drum. Same game. All I did was load up a sample and then chop that up really tight. So the kick drum itself is this long. Nice fat kick, but we don't want fat, we want tight and punchy. So yeah, the number one tip I can give you is render your drums. If you do them in MIDI, render them out to audio and start chopping away. Then for the kick, all I've got going on here is yeah, anybody who knows anything about audio would probably punch me in the face for this EQ. And some pulverization, just to fatten it up. Yeah, I have no idea why I was doing that. Please forgive me. Okay, so that's the kick and the snare. And now for the real nice glitchiness, we want to add some glitch effects. And I always like to go with a really creative and really spontaneous approach. So what I have here is an audio track 2, and that's got no processing at all, just a send effect with some room reverb. And into that track, I loaded up samples that I found in the percussion section of, I think it was a Vengeance sound effect pack. And they sound like this. So if I put that on solo, it's just sorts of reversed ride cymbals and clicks and bleeps and bloops. Yeah, it's really simple. Sometimes I like to just grab a ride cymbal and then right click and reverse the clip, and then it's just a ride cymbal, yeah. And if you put those directly in front of the drums, then you can add some really nice shuffled effects. Of course, you gotta invest a lot of time in arrangement, and it can take you a couple of minutes or maybe even an hour to arrange an 8-bar or 16-bar loop like this. But it's definitely worth it. So if we take a listen to all three of those together, I think we already did. Yeah, that's the basic foundation. I then added some hi-hats, but there's really nothing special about them. If I activate solo on those. And then also this kind of mid-range percussion thing. And we're kind of moving away from the entire glitch hop kind of thing here. And as soon as I had a bit of a melody going, I realized that I would need more than just this glitch hop snare. Let me play you the entire arrangement. I realized that I would need a much fatter snare, so what I did was add another Kong, and I just built a really massive snare. Just to have any other samples in here? No, I don't think so. Just these two, and then I layered them on top, and this leaves us with this. And then just to take some dryness away, I added some room reverb to the kick and the snare. And I know that this is not exactly glitch hop, it's at 140, it's dubstep, I know, and stuff, but I'm not going for this kind of music here. I'm just saying I have drums that sound pretty similar to this genre going on right here. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little insight on how I built those. So yeah, just to wrap it up, when you have a drum arrangement and you want it to be tighter, fatter, and glitch hoppier, rather, bounce your tracks out to audio, re-import them into your DAW, and then start chopping them up, just like I did here. It's really nice. It's just that you can use the razor tool and then set this to a really high resolution, like 16th notes, for example. Then cut, copy, paste, and you're good to go. Yeah, okay. That was my little tutorial on glitch hop drums. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, follow me on Twitter, subscribe, all that stuff. Drunk Cut out. See you next time.